How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about SPY and as well as for Triple Q. We had the CPI numbers that came out today. They were below expectations, and we saw strength inside of the market. The biggest move happened inside of the pre-market, but I know I'm going to get those questions like, Dre, what do you see SPY doing for tomorrow? So I'm going to be talking about that. And if you are catching this video the day of, it is for Thursday, all right? So let's take a look at SPY first. So we could see it close at $419.99, being up 2.10%. On the low, it tested 416.72, and then on the high, testing 420.14. As far as for the volume stats, you can see that we traded at 68.221 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 61.68 million shares. So you can see that we had above average volume and we saw a lot of strength in the stock. When we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, here's the first thing that I want to bring to your attention. Not only did we have a strong gap up, but you could see very clear that we had some resistance around this 420 area. Not surprising considering this is a level that has been watched ever since we did break out this consolidation here. Remember when we had the previous CPI in regards to June and then the market sold off? So breaking out of that 420 was pretty much going to be the next area that SPY needed to get to. But if it's going to continue its momentum, where's the next level you want to watch? I would keep an eye on 422 and as well as 425. You can see at the top that I have 430 selected, and the reason why I want to bring this to your attention as well, we have the 200-day moving average, which is at 432.16. If SPY gets above this level, it is officially out of a bear market, so that's why it does carry a lot of significance. If we get to 430, I don't see what's stopping SPY from getting to 432, so please add that to your notes as well. As far as for the technicals, it is looking bullish. You can see that we have the 20-day moving average that crossed over the 50, and now we want to see it get to the 100-day. So if this bullish trend does continue, we will see that crossover, and that's part of the reasons why we have a lot of buyers that have been stepping in. Let's be realistic here. But we also can't ignore that we have a gap to the downside at 412.77. So here's the biggest question. Before we make that move going to 430, are we going to be filling in this gap? In my personal opinion, that's what I would like to see. I think it would be very healthy. We did have quite the run up, like I was saying, due to the CPI, and filling in this gap and then continuing the run would definitely bring us to the point where, you know what, there's a high likelihood that SPY should be able to get to 430 in the near term. Considering that it's trading at 420 right now and it's only $10 away, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to move the market up even further. So that is why if you're a bear, I wouldn't be looking at puts until SPY breaks below the low of the day at 416.72, and then we could see if we can make that pullback to fill in that gap. So let's see what the market gives us going into tomorrow. Let's move on to Triple Q. So taking a look at the chart for Triple Q, we close at 325.93, being up 2.79%. On the low, we tested 322.06, and then on the high, testing 326.23. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 51.202 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 48.139 million shares. So you can see that we had above average volume, and we saw a lot of strength as well. Like I was saying in the SPY portion, it did see a lot of momentum, which started off inside of the pre-market. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, here's a few things that I want to bring to your attention. Just like the SPY, we have the 20-day moving average that has crossed over the 50, which is a bullish sign, and you can see it's trying to gain some momentum to cross over the 100. And if this does occur, then we know, of course, the uptrend is continuing. But as far as the levels that you want to watch going into tomorrow, so we ended up seeing a high at 326.23. So if this momentum continues, I want to see Triple Q getting to 330. This is very achievable, and the resistance that we have had in the past was back on the 4th of May, and as well as taking into consideration the 28th of April, where we just got shy of that. So watching 330 will be very important, so please add that to your notes. Since we did have a strong gap up on the day, we do have a gap that needs to be filled to the downside around 319.20. 320. So where would I look at puts if I wanted to take advantage of this downside move? So for the triple Q, even though we did see a low of 322.06, I would be looking at puts as soon as when it breaks below 322 on the dot. This is something that I would do, and of course you want to make sure you're using risk management. Of course, this is not financial advice. But if it ends up being bullish going into tomorrow, of course you want to see a break above the high of the day. I would be looking at calls above 327 and see if it can make that move going to 330. So that is pretty much the range that I see. If it can pull back, fill in the gap, then the chart looks a lot more healthier. Because aside from that, that's the only downside gap that we have to worry about since triple Q has been on this run up. So if it fills in that gap at 319, we make that move to 330. Keep in mind we do have the 200-day moving average, which is at 343.02. And what does this mean? The moment we have price action above this level, then triple Q is officially back in a bull market. So right now it is currently still in a bear market. So if we end up having a significant turnaround and a strong sell-off, where you'd want to see support hold up before things start getting really concerning is right here around the 100-day moving average at 313.12. All it really needs to do is stay above this level and it should be perfectly fine. If we break through this level, that's where we can come down to visit the 20 moving average and we can start seeing 308. And if it continues to pull back, of course I'll keep you guys updated, but that's when I know, you know what, that is a lot of weakness. But for the most part, let's see if this momentum could continue and triple Q can get to 330 going into Thursday.